The ENGAA, or Engineering Admissions Assessment, is a key part of applying to engineering at Cambridge. This admissions test, introduced in 2016, is one of the most recent from the University of Cambridge, but has already seen major changes since. So, what exactly is the ENGAA like, and how can you best prepare for it? My name is Sam, and this is Oxcentric. Now, a few of my more observant viewers will be wondering why I'm talking about the ENGAA, seeing as I sat the Oxford PAT. During my preparation for the PAT, I sat every available ENGAA paper under time conditions and marked them. In general, if you have to sit an Oxbridge admissions test, I'd highly recommend trying the test for your subject from the other institution as a form of revision. Additionally, due to being a newer paper, there's less resources to support students sitting the ENGAA, so I hope I can help. I'm not going to be discussing how to register in this video, just know that there is a deadline in mid-October, and by this date you have to have made sure that you or a teacher has registered you for the exam. Let's start off with some background about the exam and the skills it tests. What makes up the ENGAA? As of 2019, the ENGAA consists of two sections. Section 1 is an hour long and consists of 40 maths and physics multiple choice questions, whereas Section 2 is also an hour long but consists of 20 advanced physics multiple choice questions. The first section is also split into two parts that you should spend approximately half an hour on each. Section A consists of maths and physics, whereas Section B consists of advanced maths and physics questions, meaning the questions in this section are slightly harder. Calculators are not allowed in the exam, and your answers are marked solely off the multiple choice answer that you have chosen, not any other workings out you have on the page. This is one way in which the ENGAA is quite different to the Oxford PAT. The exam tests content very similar to A-level maths and physics, but in addition to this, it tests how you can apply your knowledge to physical problems and unfamiliar situations. You can find out more detail on what it exactly tests in the ENGAA syllabus that Cambridge publish. This exam is supplemented by an at-interview assessment at a handful of colleges, including Trinity, King's and Peterhouse. You can find the full list alongside a lot of the other information I'm referencing on the Cambridge website, link in the description. The main challenge of the ENGAA lies in timing. In Section 1 you only have 90 seconds per question, and in Section 2 you only have 3 minutes. Can I get a yes? That is very intense, as the questions will probably take you longer than that. This exam requires you to look at a problem and rapidly identify a path to a solution. In the past, the ENGAA problems did not linearly get harder. Now, I can't be sure if this was the case in 2019, but as a general rule, the first questions in each section tend to be slightly easier, but for the rest, it just fluctuates. How to practice for the ENGAA. In the ENGAA, mechanics and calculational questions seem to be two of the most common types, so practicing these will help a lot. Primarily, working on improving at A-level maths and physics content will be good preparation for the ENGAA. This can be done using your usual resources such as textbooks. So, what ENGAA specific resources can you use to revise? Whilst this isn't an exhaustive list, I recommend 3 main resources for the ENGAA. Firstly, and most importantly, I'd recommend the ENGAA past papers from Cambridge. When you complete these, I would strongly advise doing them under exam conditions to give you the most realistic sense of what the exam will be like. The answers can be found alongside the papers on the website. You can also find a few extra maths questions in the NSAA, the Natural Sciences Assessment, again by Cambridge. Not the NSA, that's a very different thing. The vast majority of maths problems on the NSAA do appear on the ENGAA, however there are a handful of unique maths problems on there. With many Oxbridge admissions tests, the older papers are easier, so starting with the oldest and working towards the present is a good idea. However, because the ENGAA is such a recent exam, I don't think there's actually much variation in how hard each paper is. Also, when you mark the papers, don't let your scoring panic or demotivate you. The average mark varies from year to year, and also there is no set mark that is a good ENGAA mark. At the time of publishing, Cambridge are still yet to unveil the 2019 ENGAA paper, however, it should be out soon, hopefully. Secondly, I'd recommend the website iwantostudy.engineering.com, which has a large selection of useful interview-style questions. This is a great free site that encompasses a wide range of topics that the ENGAA includes. Thirdly, I'd recommend the book Professor Povey's Perplexing Problems. The problems in this book are definitely more advanced than you would find in the ENGAA, however it is extremely useful for interview preparation and can generally get you used to seeing the kind of unusual questions that you might face in the ENGAA. Besides good timekeeping, one ENGAA skill you may wish to work on is mental maths. This is essential both due to the non-calculator nature of the paper and the pressing time requirements. My ENGAA technique tips. Here are my 3 main ENGAA technique tips based off my experience. Tip 1. Get stuck. Move on. Now, this should be taken to a reasonable extent. If you only answer the questions you understand within 5 seconds, you're going to end up skipping half the paper and subsequently wasting a lot of your time. However, leaving a tougher question for now and noting down to attempt it later is important. As the ENGAA is so time-bound, you may well end up having to guess answers anyway. By leaving those that you are finding more complicated and attempting other questions, you maximise your chance of being able to get the answers correct. Tip 2. Use elimination. Slight disclaimer, this will work a lot better in section 1, where the questions have on average 5 multiple choice answers, than in section 2, where they can have up to 8. However, on certain questions, looking at the answers and eliminating those it cannot be can be useful. This might help to guide your thinking, or if necessary, means that you have excluded any answers you are sure it's not before you have to guess. When I was sitting the ENGAA papers, I used elimination to help narrow down to maybe 2 choices, which I could then consider further. Tip 3. Have formulae memorised. Knowing and more importantly being comfortable using all the formulae and essential knowledge from the syllabus will help to save you time. These include circle theorems, rules regarding regular polygons' external angles, and much more. Another essential thing to learn is key values such as sine 30, sine 45, and similarly notable trigonometric values. These are expected knowledge, so if you don't know them you may struggle with some questions. Overall, knowing the basic content inside out will make the exam significantly easier. Never underestimate the importance of the simple stuff. In the second part of this video I'm going to be doing some example questions from the ENGAA and discussing them, so go check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content. Fun fact, did you know the R in ENGAA stands for